Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating, air, restoration, and flood services for over 45 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit billhowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marcos Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. The 3 victims of Monday's shooting at the Islamic Center of San Diego were laid to rest today. KPBS reporter Andrew Dyer attended the memorial.
Thousands of community members gathered at the Riverfront Park behind Snapdragon Stadium to remember the 3 killed in Monday's mosque shooting.
Mansour Kazia, Nadir Awad, Amin Abdullah. The 3 victims of the shooting at the Islamic Center of San Diego are being remembered as martyrs, as heroes.
Allahu Akbar.
Hanif Mohebi is a longtime volunteer at the center. He knew each of the victims and doesn't mince words about what exactly happened Monday.
I want to be clear, this is a terrorist act. This is terrorism. I think we need to have the courage to say that. So I'm actually not too happy with washing it down with hate crime and other soft terms that they use. No, this is a terrorist act. This is an act of terrorism.
Mohebi says there are too many false narratives about Islam coming from influential people, and the community has to fight to overcome Islamophobia. He says they need the help of those outside their faith.
Just simple words are not good enough. We need to educate ourselves first and then educate the larger community. We need to get rid of the hatred, the Islamophobia, the rhetoric, the negative rhetoric that's coming out.
Seche Kwamuman isn't Muslim, but is involved with interfaith work in the community.
I want to stand in solidarity with our Muslim community. I want to stand in very strong solidarity. I just want to be here for them. I want them to know they're supported. They're supported by the broader community of multiple faiths and multiple religions.
The memorial service itself was short, just a few prayers before the victims and families moved on to a private burial service. Mohebi says the center's doors will remain open to everyone, not just Muslims.
Come, visit, see us, sit with us, eat with us. Get to know us. We're your neighbors. We're your family members. This is America. It's for all of us.
Time and time again, members of this community talk about how welcoming they are to outsiders. And they wonder when the outsiders are going to be as welcoming to them. Andrew Dyer, KPBS News.
And you can revisit our coverage of the Islamic Center shooting on all of our platforms at kpbs.org. We also have a slideshow of images from the interfaith vigil held this week in Claremont. And for more in-depth conversations, stream our podcasts, including KPBS Midday Edition. Museum and cultural leaders are welcoming the settlement to end paid parking at Balboa Park. While they're calling it a victory, KPBS reporter John Carroll says it didn't come without cost.
When Balboa Park opened in 1915, few people owned cars, and the park didn't have any parking lots. But as cars became common, the city did not charge for parking in the park. That all changed on January 5th when the city launched paid parking in San Diego's crown jewel. Officials said at the time it was necessary to close the city's budget deficit.
It was never a great idea, and I think that finally people are starting to realize that.
Jim Kidrick is the president and CEO of the Air and Space Museum. He says paid parking kept people away, costing his museum hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I've got to balance a budget, and so evidently my budget doesn't mean anything anymore, and same with all the institutions that are here, and that's what they're saying.
The San Diego Model Railroad Museum, we're a small organization.
Mike Warburton is the executive director of the San Diego Model Railroad Museum. Like Jim Kidrick, he says he's relieved, but also not happy with what he says is damage done.
We knew that this was going to be a massive impact, and that's why we had laid off 3 staff members in advance of the paid parking implementation, as well as cut our hours of operation, a couple part-time positions.
Warburton is going to have to stick with those decreased staff levels for the foreseeable future. The city is not ending paid parking tomorrow. They've only committed to end it by the end of this year. Now that paid parking is slowly winding down, will there be consequences for those who instituted it? It's a question I put to the head of Balboa Park's Cultural Partnership.
And I think we're just thrilled that the community has been listened to by council.
But Peter Comiskey says he has no interest in the blame game.
The focus for us right now is to make sure that the people who made this work and the people who were able to get this solution through, that we celebrate their efforts.
It's not going to cure things overnight.
Bob Lehman is the executive director of San Diego Art Matters. While he works on getting the city to restore the nearly $12 million cut in arts funding, he says the damage from the parking situation will take a while to recover from.
It's going to take months or maybe even years to bring that audience back. So we really have to put some effort into bringing people back to the park.
Peter Comiskey summed up the current situation, saying, "At least there's now a light at the end of the tunnel that is paid parking in Balboa Park." John Carroll, KPBS News.
Patchy low clouds, a little fog early on will give way to a lot of sunshine during the day tomorrow. But tonight we're on the road to 62 in San Diego, 50 in Ramona, and about 51 at Mount Laguna. Friday looks like a nice day for us. Obviously warmer inland. It will cool down a little bit into the weekend in some of those hot spots in areas around Borrego Springs. We're also keeping an eye on the smoke situation. We'll take a look at the animation of the smoke and air quality into early Friday coming up.
CAL FIRE is largely in control of a wildfire in rural East County that has burned more than 800 acres in a couple of days. The fire started Tuesday in Boulevard, just north of Interstate 8. CAL FIRE says the fire threatened homes at one point. Aerial support helped keep the fire from spreading. This is on the Campo Indian Reservation near Golden Acorn Casino. New border wall construction near Tecate is causing an international controversy. KPBS reporter Gustavo Solis says construction crews are destroying parts of a mountain that's sacred to the Kumeyaay people.
The Kumeyaay name for Tecate Peak is Kuchama Mountain, and to them, the area along the U.S.-Mexico border near the Mexican city of Tecate is a sacred place. Norma Mesa Calles has spent her entire life around the mountain. She can tell you which plants cure an upset stomach and which ones help you fall asleep.
La montaña es como un psicólogo para nosotros.
People hike up the mountain, sit on the smooth white boulders, and meditate. As a little girl, she remembers seeing grown-ups spend multiple days in silent contemplation up on that mountain, usually after a difficult divorce or a death in the family.
Cuando se le moría un divorcio, su familia, enfermo, dice que tienes que ir a las piedras que acaban de desbaratar allí. Ahí te sientas.
But some of those sacred stones, boulders that have been on that mountain for more than 100 million years, are gone, pulverized to make way for a new section of President Donald Trump's border wall.
Y es muy importante la montaña que están, ya ve, si se miran, están destruyendo. Y pues nosotros ahorita salimos a decir que no destruyan.
Kuchama Mountain is technically protected in the National Register of Historic Places. Yet, this construction project was approved without a formal environmental review, which is normally required by the National Environmental Policy Act. Richard Kai is president of the Institute of the Americas.
In recent years, what has happened is that Department of Homeland Security has been able to secure successfully through legal means waivers on some of these border projects. And Congress has actually authorized multi-year funding for for the border fence, which has allowed some of these projects to be fast-tracked.
Kai used to work for the EPA on cross-border affairs during the Clinton administration. He says the stones on Kuchama Mountain may have been saved had there been a typical review.
That would have allowed for more public consultation. That would have allowed for considerations related to the cultural significance of Mount Kuchama. It would have also taken into account some of the environmental impacts, including wildlife corridors.
He understands why the Trump administration waived these requirements. The process can take years and derail projects. For example, it took 10 years to complete a review of the CBX airport border crossing in Otay Mesa. But Kai says skipping these reviews altogether is a missed opportunity to potentially find eco-friendly alternatives.
In the 21st century, I think there are ways to explore technology solutions so that we can have a secure border, but at the same time address some of the biodiversity concerns and cultural heritage concerns that exist in a place like the Tecate border.
Like Norma Mesa, Damian Vega grew up near the mountain. Vega works for the Rancho La Puerta Foundation, an organization that helped create a conservation easement on the Mexican side of the border. And part of that work involves teaching local children about the mountain.
That's the things that the kids learned here in the trail, and they also learn to meditate along with the walk. But all of these activities are stopped right now because how can they meditate with the noises that we have and the construction that we have in front of their eyes?
The foundation worked with multiple organizations in Mexico to conduct their own environmental feasibility study. They looked at everything from wildlife, natural habitats, vegetation, cultural sites, and even the risk of mudslides. Part of what makes this construction project so heartbreaking for the people of Tecate is that they thought they'd done enough to protect it. Vega says that in the early 2000s, the Kumeyaay people and local conservationists worked hard with their counterparts in the U.S. to secure environmental protections on both sides of the border.
Through an MOU with the Bureau of Land Management, the BLM, and with the Forestry Department, we also try to convince them to protect the land, and we agree, both of the sides, both of the nations. So all of the mountain is naturally is protected in terms of nature and biodiversity.
Baja California Secretary of Culture has asked the United States to stop detonating explosives on the mountain. And Mexico President Claudia Sheinbaum said in a press conference in April that her administration is looking into the matter. Meanwhile, in Tecate, Mesa does not expect construction to stop. She respects U.S. sovereignty and its right to defend their border, but views this episode as one more indignity for her people to overcome.
Desde cuando hemos sido pisoteados, hemos sido discriminados, hemos sido, pues, al final y hemos resistido nosotros. Y también la montaña está resistiendo.
Gustavo Solis, KPBS News.
And the story is also featured in today's San Diego News Now podcast. Gustavo Solis is part of the KPBS investigative team. Much of his work focuses on cross-border issues and immigration. You can find his stories on all of our platforms. Governor Gavin Newsom's revised budget would cancel state health care coverage for thousands of refugees and asylum seekers in California. KPBS health reporter Heidi DeMarco has more from the newsroom.
The governor's plan means roughly 200,000 immigrants would lose health care coverage through Medi-Cal. That includes people who are survivors of domestic violence, trafficking, and other trauma.
No adults out of that group would be able to keep their Medi-Cal. They would only receive, if you're pregnant, you could receive your pregnancy-related services, and if you go to the emergency department, the hospital will get paid.
Karen Savage-Sangwan is with the California Pan-Ethnic Health Network. She says the changes could leave thousands of adult immigrants living in San Diego without consistent access to care. She says many survivors of violence and trauma have complex medical and mental health needs and rely on ongoing care.
Be ripped away from their doctors, from their therapists, from their medication, and in many cases, they would have nowhere to turn for access to health care, behavioral health care. We're talking about people who potentially are suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, who may have experienced malnutrition, who may have other untreated injuries, chronic conditions.
Savage-Sangwan was in Sacramento this week with other advocates, urging lawmakers to reject the changes during the final budget negotiations next month. California budget analysts say Medi-Cal costs to the state are rising because of cuts in last year's One Big Beautiful Bill. From the newsroom, Heidi DeMarco, KPBS News.
We're already in the early voting period in the California primary election. Ballots have been mailed and drop boxes are open countywide. The KPBS Voter Hub is our resource for anyone who is thinking about casting their vote. We have explainers on many of the races, candidates, and issues. The same information is also available in Spanish. Go to kpbs.org and look for the Voter Hub links at the top of our homepage. Multiple candidates for the 48th Congressional District in San Diego have campaign website pages that allow them to avoid certain campaign finance rules. KPBS Public Matters reporter Jake Gata spoke with election experts to understand why this practice is so common and what rules it helps avoid.
Have you ever seen a campaign website page that says what voters need to know, followed by a bunch of campaign messages? It's called red boxing, and it's a way to avoid rules over campaign finance. I'm Jake Gata, your Public Matters reporter at KPBS, and I've been following the campaigns for California's 48th Congressional District. And I noticed something odd when I was looking at the candidates' websites. Brandon Riker, Marnie Von Wilpert, and Amar Campo-Najjar are three Democrats running to replace Darrell Issa in the 48th District. This was one of the Republican-held seats targeted by Prop 50. And all three of these candidates have what they call a media page, with a red box around their messaging and demographic targets. Those pages appear to give outside spending groups like super PACs the ammunition they need to buy ads, because election rules say the campaigns are not allowed to directly coordinate with those outside spenders. The Von Wilpert media page says, voters in the Los Angeles and San Diego media markets in California 48 need to see positive ads first and foremost online, then on streaming devices, and then in direct mail. This is followed by a list of demographic targets and zip codes outlining exactly where to buy ads. The Riker media page has similar demographic targets listed and says voters in California 48 also need to read in mail questioning who the other candidates actually work for. Both Von Wilpert and Campo-Najjar are funded by corporate and billionaire interests. And the Campo-Najjar website used to have demographic targets and messaging on their media page as well. That red box was updated in April with far less information, but still says more updates to come.
Groups and candidates are finding ways to work together to skirt the spirit of the law, if not the letter of the law in some cases.
That was Michael Beckel from Issue 1. They're a nonprofit that was founded in 2013 to reduce the influence of money in politics. Beckel said the Federal Elections Commission is supposed to be investigating this issue, but they failed to do so as recently as 2023, citing a lack of resources. Now the FEC only has 2 commissioners, short of the 4 needed to investigate. Without them, Beckel says it's essentially open season on this type of coordinated non-coordination, which means people in the 48th are getting mailers like this one, sent out by a PAC called Veterans for Truth. The mailer attacks Campo-Najjar, saying he opposed the impeachment of Donald Trump, supported Trump's border wall, and gave money to an extremist gun rights group. On the Von Wilpert media page, it essentially says the same thing, that Campo-Najjar opposed Trump's impeachment, supported Trump's border wall, and donated to an extreme gun rights group. Meanwhile, a text message sent out by a PAC called Serving California mirrored the Campo-Najjar website. This text message says, Amar Campo-Najjar is a U.S. Navy Reserve officer. Any references to his military rank, service, or photographs in uniform are for identification purposes only and do not imply endorsement by the Department of War or the Department of Navy. That specific disclaimer is also on the media page, and Serving California is funded by Irwin Jacobs, the grandfather of Congresswoman Sarah Jacobs, who's Campo-Najjar's partner. When I asked about the Riker campaign red box, a spokesperson declined to comment. KPBS hasn't seen any material that mirrors his page. The Von Wilpert campaign told me, quote, our campaign follows the law, period, full stop. And Campo-Najjar told me that everybody's doing it, so he has to also if he wants to win the election.
I want to be in Congress to get rid of super PACs, to overturn Citizens United. But just like Prop 50 and redistricting, the whole reason we got into that fight against Texas is because we cannot unilaterally disarm. We have to fight fire with fire, get into office, take power, and reform this broken, corrosive system.
This isn't isolated to the 48th District. The LA Times recently reported that Javier Becerra, who's running for governor, has a similar red box on his website. And a 2024 analysis from University of Chicago researchers found that more than 200 federal campaigns used red boxes in 2022. Beckel said that the president has to appoint more commissioners to enforce FEC rules, and Congress must approve them. There's also a bill in Congress that would require the FEC treat this behavior as coordinated communications that have strict limits. But he said it'll be difficult to get Congress to approve tougher rules on their own campaigns. For more info on this and the upcoming election, you can go to the KPBS Voter Hub at kpbs.org/voterhub.
And that was KPBS Public Matters reporter Jake Gata. Erwin Jacobs is a financial supporter of KPBS. The KPBS news operation maintains editorial independence. Serving California and Veterans for Truth PAC could not be reached for comment. Public Matters is a collaboration with KPBS, iNewsSource, and Voice of San Diego. Find more of our coverage at kpbs.org/publicmatters. Tonight brings the end of an era for late-night television. The Late Show, which aired for more than 30 years on CBS, will air its final episode. Stephen Colbert took over The Late Show as host in 2015. It was his criticism of CBS's parent company and its settlement with President Trump over a 60 Minutes lawsuit that generated pushback from the White House. Critics of the show cancellation blamed political pressure and censorship. CBS says it's a financial decision.
Well, we have a pretty good looking holiday weekend coming up. There will be a few minor issues, patchy fog in the morning near the coast, and we still are tracking some air quality concerns with the wildfire activity to our north and even offshore northwest. But we're going to begin to see a little bit more of a wind pick up on Memorial Day, and it'll be a breezier Tuesday, windier, especially in the mountains. Tonight, though, 62 degrees, partly cloudy skies, not many complaints out there on Friday morning. We'll see those low clouds near the coast, a great deal of sunshine inland, and it will certainly be warm inland into the mid-90s in the deserts. But as we take a look at the smoke, earlier in the week I was showing you this, and at times we saw a little more of that kind of amber color. We're not seeing as much of that as the projections are for less fire activity, which is good news. But still some residual smoke is in the area at times. 70 for your high in San Diego on Friday. We'll be up around 62 in the mountains, Mount Laguna, but 94 in Borrego Springs. It will get a little cooler in the interior and in the deserts on Saturday. Not a big change, but just a few degrees cooler. And if you're traveling for the holiday weekend, scattered storms in the southern Rockies and the southern plains. Sunday, morning clouds, afternoon sunshine, and again, still warm in the deserts, but not scorching. And you can see a little bit more spotty thunderstorm action there into the Great Basin. By the way, Memorial Day, most of the action is going to be in the south central and southeastern U.S. Very cool this weekend in the Northeast, warming up a little bit for Monday itself. Warm in the northern plains. We're going to stay dry, but again, a hint of a breeze begins to pick up on Memorial Day Monday. So each day, intermittent clouds. We're talking about morning clouds and afternoon sunshine for the coastal areas. It's May gray, June gloom, sometimes we call it, in the morning, and then great weather in the afternoon. Inland areas, a little warmer for Friday, then a cool down takes us down to 71 on Memorial Day at our coolest. In the mountains here, we're going to go from the low 60s to the mid 50s by Memorial Day, and into the deserts, mid 90s Friday. Still very warm, borderline hot, but we're going to settle closer to 90 each of the next following days, Saturday through Tuesday. If you average the highs out, we land real close to 90 on a pretty persistent basis. So enjoy the final day of the work week before we get into the holiday weekend. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jeff Cornish for KPBS News.
This week, KPBS is bringing you stories about San Diegans who say the climate crisis spurred them into action. A Mountain View couple has been cleaning their neighborhood for several years. KPBS environment reporter Tammy Murga says they're motivated to pick up trash around a local school to protect the youngest members of their community.
People think we work for the city.
Yeah.
That's like their first thought. And they'll
Exactly.
come up and ask us, like, who do you guys work for? And we're like, oh, we don't work for anyone.
Yeah,
we do. And
we
like,
typically say like we're your neighbors or
Yeah.
we work for you guys. Like we're picking up like I said, beer bottles and cigarette butts and just paraphernalia waste. And it's like I don't want those kids seeing that because then it ends up affecting or influencing them to do something as they're an adult.
There was like drugs in there, but it was like something that appeared to be some sort of like drugs. I know there's all kinds of things out here.
We know it's going to happen. We know it's going to rain. We know it's going to go down to the water drains. And so if we can just pick up the trash now before it ends up in that drain, that's kind of like the goal. These are actually 80-gallon bags. Yeah, we can't fill them up all the way just because of the weight. I mean, this right now is like at least 40 pounds. I mean, just like these kids walk home, and there's just this type of trash. That's why I want to do this, because I don't want these kids seeing this stuff. You know, it's just.
Oh, I love it, I love it.
Thank you.
The neighborhood's been like this for years, I wondered.
From the very front to the back here, picking up trash, it's been a pretty busy day, the trash. But what it says on the stairwell is pretty cool. You just can't see it that well. Okay. And it says like change starts here. And it's when it gets really clean, when it's super dirty and you clean it, it's such a beautiful thing. It's like a divine moment, right? You get here and you're like, this was me. I'm the one starting the change. And yeah, absolutely. You get that good feeling. And that's really what keeps me and her coming back. Is that feeling that we're doing the right thing, and that if there was just a few more people that were spending 1 hour of their day doing the same thing, how impactful could we be, you know?
So full now.
Yeah, we should probably get going.
What a cool story. And it was produced by Tammy Murga and Carolyn Corrales. You can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Good night.
Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating, air, restoration, and flood services for over 45 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit billhowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marcos Shiley, and by the following: and by viewers like you. Thank you.